see young farmers starting. First one is usually if their family's already involved in it. Um, a dad helps them get started, a grandpa helps them get started, either just working for the family farm for a while before they actually have their own land, or gradually working into it that way. Got some other friends that they started through the Beginning Farmer, the on-farm program at Iowa State, where they paired a guy like myself or yourself or somebody up with a farm that was going to retire, and no relation or anything like that, paired them up with him, and then that's how they started farming. They started working for him, and then eventually buy his business out. My personal farm business, huge. I mean, they gave me they didn't necessarily give me money per se, because I rented my own farm ground, and when I started farming, I bought pieces of equipment, and then my dad, I could use his equipment in return for my labor and my equipment. We just kind of worked together. Just huge, if nothing else, from the financial standpoint, but also from the knowledge standpoint, the experience standpoint of, is it too wet, or when do you do certain operations, or just the experience factor. But the family in my operation anyway was huge. From my dad and my grandpa, they didn't really give me anything to start farming with, but they allowed me the opportunity to farm. In the beginning, they can't. In my situation, I borrowed a lot of money and just worked my rear end off, and had off-farm jobs and whatnot to help pay my living, so the farm could just pay for itself. Equipment's the first thing. You can't farm without equipment. Now, you've got a family situation that there's equipment there and whatnot, then it's, it sure helps. It makes it easier. But second income off the farm, whether it be trucking or having a seed business or selling insurance, or the guy's married, his wife's working off the farm to help support just your living without having a full living off the farm, really helps be able to afford those things. Because they're, storage bins, everything, most young guys aren't able to do that all at once. It's going to take a while to build up some equity and stuff before they're able to do that if they're starting from nothing. I've been farming for 16 years, and I actually rented 10 acres when I was in high school, but I've been farming full-time for 16 years. When I got started, I just had a neighbor actually that asked my mom, heard that I was coming back to farm, and wanted to know if I'd be interested in renting their farm. And I started off with 500 acres and worked with my dad and my brother. My brother's a big part of the operation too, actually both of them are. I just got started that way. Then I sold seed corn and crop insurance on the side too, so that I could, all the money from the farm kept going back into the farm. And that's how I got started. Went to Iowa State, got a Bachelor of Science degree from Iowa State in agricultural studies, which is just a real general ag curriculum. And I focused in agronomy and ag business. But it had a little bit of animal science in it too, a little bit of ag systems technology, and just a real broad-based ag curriculum. And then you can kind of tailor it how you want to. It's helped me. Granted, you pulled some knowledge out of it. There's been some things I've learned either from the record-keeping side or marketing side or the agronomy side, but it's really helped me learn how to get information. Having to do stuff like you're doing here, either interviews or writing a paper or doing some research, taught me how to get information and how to ask questions and who to go to. Friends that you have in college, whatnot, and that were all in ag, with some of them work in the ag business sector now, and you can call them up and, hey, what's this new seed corn or new chemical or what's going on here? Really, how to get information, I think, is probably the biggest thing that helped me, and a little peace of mind, where if farm didn't work, I couldn't make it work. Got something to fall back on too. I sell crop insurance too, and but farming's the main source of income. Crop insurance just kind of helps out with some of the family living. The technology side is just unreal how it's changed. The GPS, the variable rate seeding, the variable rate fertilizer. I'd say technology is the biggest change. Size of equipment, that's gotten bigger too, but you wouldn't be able to do that necessarily without the technology to go along with it. So I'd say that's being able to do more with less people and less resources. I'd say the biggest piece of advice I can give to a young farmer is hard work's not only part of it, but keep your pencil sharp and keep good books, because if you know your business and know where you're at, that'll be the biggest thing. Stay up on the bookwork, keep the bills paid, know where your money's going, and that kind of stuff. I'd say is probably even almost more important now than, you need to be able to raise a good crop, and you need to know how to farm and stuff. But if you don't have the bookkeeping and the record keeping behind you to know where you're at in your operation, I would say that's probably one of the biggest. In general, I think it's going to be good. I mean, just look at the situation around the world today. I mean, we're short supply on corn, beans, wheat, all that. China in the Asian countries, they're hungrier. They're getting a little better diet. There's not going to be any more land necessarily come available in the world, so we're going to have to do more with less. I think the outlook looks pretty good for agriculture. I mean, you're still going to have your ups and your downs and your cycles that it always goes through, but definitely think that's going to be good. I see things probably getting a little bit more consolidated. We're probably going to have fewer farms in the future, and they're going to be bigger, but they're going to be fewer. Just kind of the nature of the beast, the way it looks. Not necessarily the way I want to see it go. I really like the family farming aspect. I used to farm with my dad and my brothers, and Grandpa helped out a little while there too, before I started farming. But there's going to be something to be missed about that aspect of it. But I see it changing. Probably going to be more consolidated. You're going to see some bigger farms, or maybe even corporations owning a chunk of it so they can secure the production that they need. Maybe more contract farming or something like that.